Yeah. Mm, Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. It's funny bits time. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's funny bits time. Carl's the only one that dances with me. It's so funny. All right. So, welcome to another funny edition of Funny Bits Podcast. The crew is here. We have two amazing special guests that we will bring in a little later. But first, y'all, let me introduce you to, you know who. Carl Rogers is here, y'all. Look.
What's up? What's up?
I
What's
can't
up?
hear you. You're too busy dancing.
Turn me up in the headphones.
There you go. Much
Yeah.
better. And Larry XL is here, y'all.
What's up?
Not much. Jamming out on this Friday Eve. So it is September 24th. We love saying Friday Eve. It just sounds more festive. We don't say the T word here. No. So we're going to get rocking and rolling. Love that.
Texas.
Huh? It is
Texas.
It is gangster. I have, what's funny is I have a separate rap that I used that instrumental for for a show a few years ago. Oh, remember that show that I did called When Wives Attack?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whoa. Yes. Go ahead. Spit them
I
bars.
did that rap. I still have it too, and it was so funny. I mentioned that to a friend of mine, crazy. Y'all know Jason Pollock, and
Oh, Jason's
he
crazy.
was like, "Let
Good
me
show.
hear it," and I played it. I hadn't listened to it in so long, and I was cracking up. I said, "What?"
Hey, Halloween's coming up. We should have Jason back on the show since Halloween's coming up.
I know that's his favorite time of year. We definitely will.
Yeah. Halloween is Jason's Christmas.
Yeah, it really is.
It-
But y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Funny Bits Podcast is where laughter lives.
Yes.
Exactly.
All the time. What's happening? How was your week? What's going on, Carl? How you been?
Week is good. Been doing some training. Getting a couple platforms ready for the
trying to get your stamina up.
market. Huh?
Trying to get your stamina up.
Negro.
What?
For real,
I'm
for
good.
real. Let's just cut to the chase. Let's talk
Nope,
about
we ain't
how
gonna do it.
Carl made it official on Facebook. There was a picture that I came across. You wanna talk about that photo shoot that you did?
Yeah, well, basically, it was Sunday. You know, we was chilling and everything after church and whatnot. Took a few pictures, posted it online. You know, I mean, she makes me look good, so I'm happy for her.
I love it. First of all, okay, so y'all rolled up in church, coordinating, huh? You
gotta coordinate.
You discuss the outfits. That's what I'm coming up with.
Yeah, you gotta coordinate. You gotta be able to do that. You know, show that solidarity.
Oh, yeah.
Solidarity. That's like the warning signs. Like, hey, like all you ratchet chicks, stay away. This guy's taken.
Pretty much. I mean, as subtle as it could be, it's like if I could look at my my Facebook friend count, it was like people just start dropping off. Then
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Marking her territory.
Listen.
Now, but I'm gonna tell you, you have cousins family members who don't have no chill, and I have one cousin. I'm not gonna say her name, but you know how you can see people typing in the comments.
Yes.
I held my breath so bad until I saw it. I was like, oh gosh, she must have took her medication today. Bless her heart.
No,
but it's good.
You are a brave man to like enter a relationship now that we're rolling into the holidays, because that is a financial responsibility that you might not be prepared for. I mean, you got Christmas, New Year's. I mean, then Valentine's Day after that. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Oh no, it's good. I'm about to sell everybody more insurance. It's just how that's going to go down.
Okay.
I'm doubling down on insurance policies. Like, yo, you need a policy. You need a policy. Your mama need a policy.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
Especially kids is at that age where they don't like 5 and below that much no more. It's like, $20 $5 and below. They feel like they don't hit the jackpot. But like, yes, I'm like, Dad, take that back. How many charges do I need? Yeah.
No, well, I'm teasing you, but I think it's so cool. But hold on one second. I'm just very impressed that you made it Facebook official, because it's not real unless you post it on Facebook.
Man, can you imagine if like people that were all like in relationships like tease people who are single the same way that people that are single tease people in relationships? Get you out there.
It's rough.
That's right? How you can tell. I'm gonna tell you, I'm speaking from experience, and this is nothing. I speak on me. That's how you can tell your relationship is in the crapper when you get deleted off of Facebook. I was like, I thought we were trying to work things out. You get deleted.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's what we're doing? Okay, let me call my lawyers now. Because Facebook said we ain't friends no more.
Right.
Sometimes it could be a collective family thing. It was like, oh, so your sister deleted me and your brother-in-law? Oh.
Yeah. when his peoples know that the relationship's over before you do.
Pretty much.
Yo, hey Larry, that's always been my thing. I said a guy, most likely the man, he is the last, because her girlfriend know, her mama know, her aunt know, and if the male carries a female, she know.
Yep, everybody know. And you sitting there like the last one talking about what happened.
You buying gifts and snacks and stuff, coming to the house, but like, yeah, I gotta talk to you. But like, I should have saved that receipt.
I think, you know what? But here's the thing, that that's the world we live in now with social media. It's like everything goes on social media first before before people even talk to people that are close to them. I remember years ago, I read something and this was a really, really good friend, like a childhood friend. And like I used to be in the know about everything in their family. And then all of a sudden I saw something on Facebook. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, wait a minute. How is it that I have to read this on Facebook? And it really annoyed me. I was like, yeah, I don't like that shit.
But I mean, here's the thing. It's like, it's the technology. It's easy to just break up with somebody. I mean, back in the day, you had to like change your identity, move to a different town, open up different bank accounts, just to ghost somebody. You had to just start a new life somewhere else.
It's a whole new life.
We're done.
Now all you have to do is block. You have to delete and block. That's it. And then you erase them from existence.
You know how a girl blocked a dude back in the day before social media? She sent that crazy relative over to dude's house. That's how you blocked them. And then for dudes to block a girl, they sent that crazy ratchet cousin to their house. Be like, okay, he said stop calling him, right?
Dating, social media.
They're gonna block.
You on the block. Speaking of, anybody watching Big Brother All Stars by any chance? I know y'all not into it. I shouldn't even really be into it, but this show, and when you said you on the block, it just reminded me of Big Brother and the house and how they nominate people. And the show I've complained about the show for years because it always seems like they try to get the Black people out first. And I'm screaming at the
yeah, I mean, That's just a get down. That's the same with the Bachelor too.
So
Bachelor, any type of show where it's like a hookup show where it's like they're trying to find the ideal mate and it's somebody white. The sole black contestant is gonna, like, by the third episode, he gonna be gone. He or she's gonna be gone.
Right, the Bachelor, poor like Bachelor, Bachelorette. I was impressed with ABC finally because there was the first black female Bachelorette. I guess
How long did the white guy last on that show?
I don't wait, and it's bad. Her name is Rachel, and I cannot remember how that season went down because it was still a mixture of people, and she was dating, several people, but I forget who she ended with. That's craziness. But I was proud because I was like, okay, finally, now we need the a black bachelor. See how that works out.
That is gonna go all kinds of bad because you're gonna get some brother on the show that's gonna try to, like, you know what, I want the top three. Ooh. And then like he get top three is like, I'll take all three of them. Let's go.
You know what? So I've changed to polygamy world. I don't know what the hell.
Like, I want that one.
Oh God.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. So I'm into a whole lot of crazy shows, especially since the pandemic. I found even more stuff to watch. But I'm super excited because I want to bring our guests in here. But real quick, before we do that, Larry, I forgot to ask, you didn't chime in on how we kind of just got into Carl's love affair.
But thank you.
So
hey, look, it's not an affair anymore. He made it official. It's legit.
Right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right. See, he put it all on me like I started it. I ain't say nothing. I just love how this mystery woman started popping up.
You're the one who pointed out to me. Like, I wouldn't even I'd have just floated right by on Facebook if you hadn't pointed out.
I'm I'm fading away. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. When we went to lunch the other day, and I'm like, ooh, did you see what Carl posted?
Oh, wow.
Straight gossiping. I was like, look at here.
Yeah, I just showed up to talk about comedy. I wasn't really trying to get all up in your business. That's all LaTice right there.
It's all good. It's like this. If I can't take a little rigging from my colleagues, it's all good.
I'm super excited because we have two special guests today. Normally we have one guest, but today we have two special guests because these lovely ladies, let me see, we have Sam Kap with us and also Christine Olivas. They are joining us momentarily. You know what? I love their story. They're newer comedians, but they are like on the fast track. Okay. They've produced several successful shows in person and online more recently now. And most recently started their own off mic comedy school, which I'm actually one of the instructors. So I'm super excited. I want to get them in here to talk about the story behind this and the process that it took for them to do this. And we're going to just talk about comedy as a whole. So I'm super excited. So please welcome to the show, Christine Olivas and Sam Kap. What's up, ladies?
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. I did enjoy your story, Carl. I will say I was listening attentively, taking some notes.
I know, but here's the crazy part. So really what I'm teasing him about, like, this is in the middle of the pandemic. He done found love. So it is hilarious to me. And I remember I was doing a show a couple weeks ago, and there were two sets of couples. One who was just dating 4 months, and one it was like 2 months. And I was like, oh, y'all think y'all cute because y'all done found somebody in the middle of the pandemic? And everybody started cracking up. So I'm messing with them like, okay, and how did y'all, like, what was it, a website? Like what dating site did you meet? And so I was talking to them, but I find it very interesting because I'm like, in how they always say in these uncertain times, right? And apparently love is not uncertain for some people, so it's really cool. But Christine, I want to start with you. So tell us a little bit of your background, like how long you've been doing comedy, and then we're gonna get into off the mic. Off. I always want to say, I always add the in it. Excuse me, off mic. It's so
I kind of like it. We
it sounds like
change
it.
Let's rebrand.
Every time I say it, I'm like, no, that's not right. And then, but it does sound like it should be almost right.
I
It's
like
weird.
it. Maybe we'll change it if it's successful this time around. We're taking it.
Don't change it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's see a little of my background. So three pertinent personal facts. Say that 3 times fast. I was a minister's daughter. I was homeschooled until I was 15, and I was in a cult growing up. So
Damn. I'm sorry.
no, we call that the triple threat.
Yeah.
A lot of comedy in there.
Yeah, that alone is
That's a
comedy.
lot.
I know.
You must be funny as hell, because I'm sorry, for you to find your way into comedy after all that, you must have like one hell of a perspective and a unique, like brand of humor. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, I just got tired of being
That's
like,
a sitcom show.
traumatized about it, like for a long time. I was traumatized about it, and I actually wrote a lot of fiction. I've done like essays about it. I was working on a memoir, and I was like, this is just too heavy. Like, I'm gonna start like laughing about this stupid shit that just keeps coming up, So that's kind of why I got into it in the first place. I had just moved to Philly from New York as well, so it was like a fresh start. So yeah, I took a class at a place that will go unnamed, and I took a class from Che, who was actually Sam's instructor as well, who's one of the other off mic instructors. And I didn't go into it trying to do comedy. I just went into it trying to find a different way to talk about my life and my stories. And I totally fell in love with it. He was very encouraging. And then I ended up meeting LaTice pretty shortly thereafter at like a little student kind of reunion show that she was hosting. And yeah, I totally got obsessed. Yeah, like it happened it wasn't what I planned, but it happened fast. And it happened because of great people like Che and LaTice and Dan and Jake, the other instructors, which is why kind of in a weird way wanted to give back. Like the school so far is not going to be, it's not this massive profit center. I feel like there's this like thing going around Philly that people think this is like this huge money making venture. Like it's definitely
there's no money to be made in comedy. Even if you're good. I mean, this is not a way to make a lot of money unless you're famous. If you were just
100%. And for the school, we put a lot of work in, right? We had to create a brand from scratch and the website and create pages where people could register for the classes and a system to send the emails. So there's been a lot of investment so far. But it's really going to be a way for people like LaTice and Jake and Che and Dan, who are all amazing comics, really nice people, super supportive of others, to teach and hopefully keep going while the pandemic is happening, and also be kind of safe and inclusive. I'll save it for later, but I do have a really cool story from over the weekend of a gentleman that I talked to in Tennessee that I want to share, who's going to be taking some classes. So
awesome. Yes, please do. So Sam, let's hear from you, darling.
Hey. I'm Sam Kap. I didn't prepare 3 facts. That always makes me really nervous.
You don't have to prepare.
I wasn't prepared. Whenever I'll talk about myself till I'm like blue in the face. But if you're like, tell me 3 things about you, I'm like, my mind goes blank. It just shuts down.
Nope.
And I think of the most basic stuff. I'm like, I'm vegan. Is that what you wanted to hear? That's not what you wanted to hear. But it's very proud vegan. As I like to say, so vegan, it's tattooed on my ribs just so that you don't forget. But I'm a 29-year Philadelphia native. I have lived in the city my whole life, and I love it here. I did also begin comedy about a year and a half ago in 2019, also taking a class. And it was extremely instrumental in me being able to kickstart my comedy career, as you may, comedy life. I was really nervous public speaking. You could probably tell I'm nervous now. I feel like, I'm like, don't ask me to talk about myself. Unless you don't ask, then I'll talk about myself. That's how it works. When you don't want to hear it, I'll give you everything.
Right.
Hey, Sam, I want you to take LaTice to a vegan restaurant and then report back to us on how that went.
Oh, I love
Okay.
that.
I want to see how that goes.
Listen,
You know-
Sam has been like very very vocal on Facebook about these amazing recipes that she does at home, and it's very interesting. And I'm like, oh, and like I'll see the finished product and I'm like, okay, that looks edible. I'm like, it doesn't look bad.
Now, you were just going at it all wrong. Just because it's like, you know, I've been to vegan restaurants, like full on vegan restaurants, and it, you know, I am one of the most meat eating people you ever want to see.
Yeah.
But there are some really fun and interesting dishes to be had, because just because it's vegan doesn't mean that like people's taste buds are wired differently. It's just a different way of approaching, you know, putting a dish together, and more times than not, it comes out great.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a big
you, Larry.
supporter.
Yeah.
I know, he's our new vegan spokesperson. That was
Right.
great.
No, because I got vegan friends, and you know what? Every once in a while, you got to let the vegans choose the restaurant you go to, and because, you know, it's just stupid to go through life and not try things just because it's not your normal, you know, existence. So like every once in a while, you know, let the vegan, like, you know, narrate the night out as far as like, you know, the East goes, and you'd be surprised at like how much of that you end up liking.
Yeah, it's true. I think people are really surprised. I mean, you know, our big joke is that people think we're just eating like iceberg salads, like sad salads, what I like to call an I hate myself salad, you know, the kind of salad you make for yourself when you're just like, I have to do this. And you just like, you hate it. And then you eat a cheeseburger at night and you're like, cool, that balanced, right? And, you know, it's like,
Sad salad.
like make a happy
I
salad,
just think
you know?
There's certain catchphrases that you gotta be more specific with. Now, I've done many a times I won't eat meat just because I just feel like just not eating meat. But if you invite somebody to a barbecue, it is understood that there's supposed to be some meat. You can't.
Don't be talking about your steak and it be cauliflower. I'm not going to appreciate that, because
me and buddy
got my taste buds all
we went
set
to
up.
a barbecue years ago, and this was before we was young, and the girl said come over to our house for a barbecue, and we went to her house for a barbecue, and I'm like, yo, so let's get this thing going, like hamburger, hot dog, where is that? And she was like, oh, this is a vegan barbecue. I was like, but she had ribbits. She had these tofu ribbits.
And I'll tell you where that comes from. Like, here's the thing: Black people, especially when we get older, we hate to have a disappointing meal because our thought is, man, I hope I don't die and this will be the last thing I ate, because I'll be so mad if, like, I walk out the street, get hit by a car, and the last thing I ate was like a tofu hot dog. That frightens them more than anything.
Let me tell you,
cauliflower.
I try to keep my cool.
Hilarious.
Cauliflower. I like cauliflower.
It's true.
Need some meat next to it.
It's so true. So, ladies, tell everybody how the comedy school came about, because I love this, and of course it's virtual. And during these times, during the pandemic, everyone had to figure out, what can we do now? When everything stopped, and us as comedians were like, now what? And you guys quickly like pivoted. We had Kat Mosley on here last week, and I was talking to her about the same thing, because she was one of the pioneers of doing these mics, online. And she did a 26-week run with Sucks to Be Quarantined. And it was so funny, because I was very apprehensive at first and I didn't jump in right away. But then I started teaching online, And then I was doing a couple shows and I was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. So I got onto it. But there are some comedians, I mean, to this day that have not done one Zoom show. And it's interesting when I hear that, because I just feel like we have to get it out somehow. And I felt like virtually was definitely the best, solution during the pandemic.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's like two different groups. It's the group that doesn't adapt, which we know that's one group, right? And then I do think, to be fair, in some people's defense, I think that the pandemic brought up all these other things, right? Like it was silent, you had no social interaction, and all of a sudden, maybe, I don't know, part of the reason I could go out every night and do open mics is like, being able to have a drink and like getting caught up in the energy, and it kind of does get rid of some of the anxiety. And then all of a sudden you're sitting at home, like on the computer. And I think for some people that actually brings up more anxiety, which I totally understand. But I think like the target audience for this and for the school, honestly, is less people who are already doing a bunch of stuff, although we certainly have the 201 class that LaTice is teaching, but people who might not be able to do it otherwise. So technology does open up those opportunities. So like Che, for example, who's teaching the 101 class, had a guy from his neighborhood that he grew up with in the Bronx see his post on Facebook and be like, look, I'm never going to travel to Manhattan and spend all this money and go to some corporate class at like the Cellar. Like, but if I can take a class online that's way cheaper with somebody I grew up with who's like doing well now from my home, I'll do it.
Right.
And the guy that I was talking to, David, he recently got diagnosed with a pretty severe autoimmune disease and has a disability. He's down in Tennessee, and we're actually going to have him run the weekly mic that goes along when you purchase a class. You get priority access to like a weekly mic. And he was like, look, this is like going to open up opportunities for a lot of my friends who they couldn't leave their house before, like forget the pandemic. Like
right.
they couldn't leave the house before because it was difficult to like try to find transportation and figure it out and then have somebody be nice to you when you got there. So I'm hoping, and that was sort of the vision originally, like the pandemic sparked it, but like maybe some of these people could never do in the first place. And that's actually really, really awesome, I think.
Yeah, it is. And Sam, what's your take on it?
No, I love the accessibility issue. I mean, it's, not an issue anymore. It's really accessible. And, it's a lot of folks are saying like, oh, we don't have to like go downtown and park, and we don't have to like hire a babysitter and like, waste all of this time. You can do it. And the kids are in the other room and, you're able to do your thing. And I mean, I think it's really, I would never have been able to do comedy without taking a class. I would never have had the confidence, the skills, the knowledge, the tools that I needed. I hear a lot of times people say, you can't teach comedy, just go out and go to open mics for 10 years and then you'll get it.
10-year open micer, that's hilarious.
And I'm like, no, there's not, you can learn anything. We can all learn anything, especially with this access of technology. We can really learn so much. And you don't just have to rough it, and you don't just have to like go out there for 10 years and sit at a bar for 5 hours and have like a crappy experience, because that's not the only way to learn,
Right.
And I think I think it's interesting. We're thinking so much about like this virtual world and how it's like different, but it's not really different. I mean, we all use social media every day. We all look at YouTube videos, and we're all seeing digital content constantly. And so this isn't really anything new. We're not, all of this stuff has been done before. We're just kind of curating it to the new era that we're in. And I think it can be really fun to do virtual shows if you do it the right way. We've done a lot over the past 6 months, I think the three of us at least.
Yeah.
And I've seen them done a lot differently. I've been at some where, they did certain ways where the room is a dead room, where you're not looking at anyone, you're not hearing anything, you're just talking to yourself in the ethers, and it's painful. And we don't do it that way. We have produced a lot of shows where we're sort of keeping it interactive and making sure that the audience is being able to, communicate with us in addition to the other performers. And I think it can really be really realistic. You're able to get your jokes out, you're able to learn, you're able to work through material. I think back to like, okay, there's like, all right, guys, cell phones on silent. What's up? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you know, people have been doing virtual learning forever. It's sort of like, remember when online dating started like 20 years ago and people were like shocked that people were meeting online, like, oh my God, you're going to die. How are you doing this? So dangerous,
Right.
you know, it can't be right. And now it's the only way people meet, right?
Let me tell you, that's funny that you say that because I was in that first wave of online and I was a person that didn't even have my own computer in my house at the time. I had just gotten, my daughter had actually just gotten one for a gift, and I was like, okay, let's set this up. And I remember watching Regis and Kelly going all the way back, and they were talking about Match.com. And I was like, oh, let me check this out. And I literally put a profile up in July, that like towards the end of July. And by August, I had already talked to like a few people, and then I was like, no. And then that's how I met my husband in 2003. And I was
Sam, Christine, first of all, do you guys even know who Regis is? Because you guys are kind of young. I don't want LaTice to like get references at you that are going over your head. Like who the hell is this Regis person you talk about?
Rest in peace, because we just lost him.
I know. I do know. I'm 38, so I've got
okay. All right.
Sam's a baby. Sam's a baby.
Okay.
I'm 29, but I was there.
Just not
No, they knew who he was. So, but yeah, they kept talking about this. And I was like, oh, let me try it. And that's literally how I met my husband in 2003. And I didn't even know how IMing worked. It was so fun because when we started to like chat back and forth, and I'll never forget, like, I just remember like sending messages like during the day or something. And I was just like, why aren't you answering me? Like, I really became psychotic. Like, so then it was like all these messages like, hello, why aren't you listening to me? Are you ignoring me? What's going on? And this is like, we had only been dating like probably not even a month yet. It was maybe a month or a month and a half. And he's like, I have to be in front of the computer to actually see your messages. I was like, oh. It's so embarrassing. I was like, oh. In fact, that Christmas was the first time I got my cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone up to that point, by the way. So December of 2003, I had just got my first cell phone. It was a Christmas gift. But yeah, I was one of those people that had no idea with this online stuff, and I was there.
And now you can't keep her off of Facebook.
I was going to say, I like
Facebook and as person I know.
I like the idea. I like the idea that that's where your hashtag first started. Like Tease Talks was like in those moments with that guy. You're like, you didn't even know it yet, but that's what your like thing was going to be. Yeah,
right.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but I like to look at the pros and the cons of every situation. And you say like, a lot of the open mics are going virtual and there's all these benefits, but I'm always looking at the drawbacks. Like the people that are coming up in this time now, like we forget how much actually leaving your house and going to the mic is part of the experience and hanging out and chopping up with other comics. And also, like, once you get used to not having to leave your house and being all like in your own like bubble in your yoga pants and your fuzzy slippers and being able to do a show, are you even going to want to just like put on actual clothes, leave your house, go like, drive around for like a half hour to find out like a parking space that isn't going to cost you like $30 and, spending, $9 for a beer and going through about 4 of those while you're waiting to go on and like, and ducking out because the comic on stage is so bad that you just can't stand to watch him bomb. Is that
that's all part of it.
Is being a homebody and being able to do the shows, is that going to turn you off from the actual like physical reality of being a comic once things get back to normal?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I'm definitely an extreme extrovert and I like the energy, and I certainly didn't like shy away from putting that time in for the first year. I mean, Che told us week 2 of the class, go out and do open mics. And I expected to do 2 open mics before the 6-week class is over. And I was like, well, I have nothing to say, but I guess I'll figure it out, like so I did. And I definitely miss that. And so don't get me wrong, like that's definitely a drawback for me. I'm not as concerned because I'm already producing some outdoor shows. Sam and I have both been doing outdoor mics. Like we're trying to create like a hybrid world to the extent that we're allowed to, but I go back to the access thing again. If you were a person who couldn't make it to those mics, right? So I did an afternoon open mic in Philly right before the pandemic that got canceled for obvious reasons. And we had a lot of folks over 70 coming to that. And they're like, there's no way on this planet that I'm going to stay up until 1 a.m. and drink with people. But why should I not be able to do comedy when I'm 75? So we actually had a bunch of folks like that were, retirement age who came to that. Disabled folks who are, have some sort of impediment to be able to not actually travel frequently to mics. And there's the echo chamber thing. So that's something I do worry about. You go to open mics in Philly because that's your town. That's how you get there. You're seeing the same people over and over and over again. And I will say in the pandemic, like I did a show actually at 3 p.m. today that was hosted out of Edinburgh, Scotland, and it's like, those are people I never would have been able to be exposed to. So I hope we can find a balance. I hope we can still get out of our chairs and go back outside. But there's something nice about being able to be around different people, especially if they weren't, I guess, able to do it otherwise, like who are we, like what talent are we missing because we have a certain model is kind of my thought. But I mean, I don't want to be online only. That's for sure.
Right. That's how I feel. It's gonna be a hybrid, like you said. It's the best of both. I think now that we've exposed ourselves to the virtual, we have access to that, and like I've been doing outdoor shows as well. So and there is nothing like standing in front of an audience, but there's a different feel virtually too. And like you said, the benefits are like I did shows that were hosted out of Massachusetts. I've been in like California. I haven't been as far as Scotland, but we'll see. But it's just cool to be like, yeah, I have a show later. Yeah, it's in LA. And they're like, huh?
If anybody misses staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning drinking, it's LaTice.
Yeah, it is.
Well, she's still doing that. She's just.
I really am. And then I just bought a new bottle, 1800, by the way.
Yeah. and a hip flask you could take it to work.
I just put it in my water bottle. They can't tell.
Silver tequila and vodka are the best for sneaking into the
yes.
Yeah.
It's just like water.
I'm curious what Carl thinks. Carl, what do you think about the hybrid, virtual, in person? What's your kind of take on it?
Carl's a church comic, so I don't know if his reality is the same as ours. Yeah.
I'm not a church comic. Well, I do a lot of my stuff in church, yes. But yeah. So the thing about it is that because churches are not opening up just yet, so a lot of churches that I've worked in the past are putting together things for the rest of the year, which they include me in on, which is fine. It's just pricing it out right. But here's the thing: going to a mic right now. Well, back in the day, you say go to the mic or don't go to the mic. Either you get paid or you don't get paid. But here, it kind of don't even make a difference how much I bring in on a Zoom concert or show or whatever, because it's just an opportunity to still get back out there until everything gets better. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It's just like, just got to trust the process that at some point we may get back to it. But in the meantime, hey, hit that Cash App and we can get this thing going in 5, 4, 3, 2. Like that.
Exactly. That is exactly right. So a little off topic, because we usually have our own set of topics for our show. It's usually just general stuff, but things that are happening right now. So are you guys following Dancing with the Stars at all?
I was like, oh fuck, what are we about to get asked right now? How dumb am I about to look? Dear God, I don't watch the news. It's so depressing.
I know. Yeah.
Please.
Oh yeah, this is not that kind of
No.
podcast.
No.
I was like, no, I
Not at
didn't
all.
consent to this. Don't ask me that.
We're about to get really heavy.
Right. We're about to get so heavy. Dancing
About
with
to
the
get deep.
Stars. Who do you think's gonna win this season?
I've never watched a Dancing with the Stars. I don't know if you're asking me, but I'm going to talk. But I've never watched a Dancing with the Stars.
Okay, so
Right.
I'm going to let you in on something. Carol Baskin is one of the contestants this season,
So
and there were so many jokes going around, and they ended up actually. Her first dance was to "Eye of the Tiger," and I almost lost my mind.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "What the hell?"
I'm just glad Carol Baskin isn't going into stand-up because comedy clubs be breaking their necks to try to book her.
Right.
Put some jokes together.
Right. That's how I feel too. I'm like, we'd have no chance.
Yeah.
She would sell out and then talk about absolutely nothing on stage.
And LaTice is mad right now. She's like, so you mean to tell me this woman killed her husband and now she's the toast of Hollywood? Why not think of that?
Yes.
2021 plan.
Shortcuts to career
Exactly.
advancement. That is America right here now. All you got to do is like be in a documentary, just imply that you killed somebody, and next thing you know, everybody's looking to just throw money at you.
I just want to talk to her and see if I could borrow one of those tigers.
I know.
those poor tigers. They abuse Carol Baskin, the men, I mean, her husband, right? They abuse Carol Baskin, then they're abusing these freaking tigers. I mean, did anyone get a break in this world? I didn't watch that.
I didn't watch it either. I
was
did
not
not
a
watch
vegan
Tiger
show.
King at all.
We need to have Sam on more often to bring in the vegan, animal-friendly perspective in all our topics. I'm just saying, because we are the voice of reason, our conscience here.
Like, save the tigers. Save them. Oh, that's
Tigers.
hilarious. So, are there any shows that you've been like that you religiously watch? Just name one that you like.
I religiously watch RuPaul's Drag Race. I've watched every season, every episode for the past decade. I have seen everything about everything. I'm obsessed.
About RuPaul.
Yes.
That's
If I didn't have a bad knee, I would death drop right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. What about you, Christine? Anything that
Well,
you
I heard you talking. So wait, I want to clarify something earlier. When you said wives with knives, did you mean that you were part of one of those reenactments?
No, it was When Wives Attack.
Oh, when wives attack.
Wives with knives.
When don't they attack?
That was the actual show name that I came up with, and the comedians that performed on the show were all married, and we just talked about how brutal marriage is, and I made a rap song for the intro of the show.
Well, that's gonna be my new show. But yeah, I love shows on ID, like the kind of like crime,
Yes.
basically, where they like have people reenact like the real people that were involved in the crime. So they have like wives with knives and like evil twins.
Yeah, I get on some of those shows too. I saw this one show that just debuted recently. It's called How to Rob a Bank. And I'm like, why are you putting out a show like that now when everybody's broke? How to Rob a bank. That is
Right. They know how to do it. They know how
That's
to do it.
entrapment right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how to get away with murder, how to hide a body,
Right.
bring fingerprints off, start your life somewhere else. I mean, damn, what's next?
Yeah. How to
look.
You already got your mask, so you're halfway there, so you're good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, ABC has had a phenomenal show called How to Get Away with Murder, starring Viola Davis. So come on.
That's a good show. But yeah, I just finished. I don't like a ton of TV, to be honest. I'm more of like I don't know, just like read shit kind of person.
That's
I don't
good.
watch TV, but I do really, really, really like the documentary McMillions. I don't know if you've seen that, but
I've heard about it. I'm gonna check it out.
it's really good. I mean, it's like the layers just keep going and going. And there's one woman who was like the mob wife, basically, like the wife of the boss who like orchestrated this entire scheme, which is so fucking American. I'm sorry to like have a scheme around the McDonald's Monopoly game. Like there's nothing more American than
Oh,
that.
right. I remember when that happened. Okay.
Yeah. like the McBurglar. And so it's basically this one mob dude from Florida who decided he got he was security at the company where they printed all of the like winning tickets. And he decided that he could like create more and then steal the ones and just give them to so it became a pyramid scheme. He would give
I wish I would have been in on that, boy.
Dude, so good, but it's horrible because actually, I mean, it totally ruined people's lives, of course, because then the FBI got involved and all these people ended up going to jail and stuff. But it's pretty fantastic.
Well, yeah, they deserve to go to jail, but I mean, it's very masterful. Well, and my first job was McDonald's when I was 15, and I remember when those pieces and those games started coming out, and I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be great if I won one of these?
Well, that's what's so sad about it. It's like all these people who like are hard up for money, and then that's who he would approach and be like, hey, give me this. If you go cash in your piece and pretend like you won, you can have the money, but you have to give me like 50% every month or whatever.
Oh my God. Like, so he was taking a severe cut. Like
yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy to watch. And then there's one scene that I think you would love at the very end, the mob wife. It's like the last scene of the documentary. She walks through the graveyard to like kiss her husband's grave and she falls because she's wearing 6-inch heels. And they keep it on camera. For some reason, I thought of you in that scene. I'm like, well, people think this is freaking hilarious. Like,
I would think that was hilarious. I really would. I'm gonna definitely check that out. Well, I'm like obsessed. There's so many shows that I do watch, and and I really should read more. But I don't.
Right?
But yeah, Dancing with the Stars, and it's funny because when they announced that it was, coming back now, the big thing is that Tyra Banks is the new host. So there's no more Tom Bergeron. I mean, he was a staple. And then there was Aaron Jackson, who was also co-host. And I'm like, neither one of them are there anymore. Everything is social distance. So the judges are far apart. There's no one in the ballroom. It's a total different look, but the show is still happening. So that's the other thing.
Though. If I'm an actual celebrity that is booked on the show, and then I find out Carol Baskin got booked on the show as celebrity, I'm quitting. There's no way in hell you're going to book me as an actual bona fide
every
talent
year.
and have me up there with somebody, who doesn't really have any talent except for, like feeding dead people to a tiger.
They do it every year. They find the one person. I mean, I remember when it was a big deal that what's her name from Alaska was
Sarah Palin.
Russia from my house. Yeah, who was it?
Sarah Palin, baby.
Sarah Palin was on there. Then they had her daughter a few seasons after that. Who was just most recently one of the senators or somebody, and like they were horrible, but they kept getting the votes to stay on because people just wanted to see them. So that's what we're irritated about the show. I'm like, they can't dance.
They gotta change the name.
Then still there?
They gotta change the name to Dancing with the Common Folk.
Right. Dancing with the Sensationalism is really what it is.
Dancing with the B-listers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, it goes C or D. So on some of them, it's not
Dancing with the Stars.
question mark and quotation. So now you guys are
season of the Masked Singer. They should do like a season of the Masked Singer and have no celebrities. So like the judge will be like guessing is like, are you blah blah blah? Nope. Are you blah blah blah? And then you take the mask. Like, who are you? I'm nobody. I'm just.
Right.
I'm Tyrone Jackson.
That's who I am. So you guys are both in Philly. Have you seen where your gyms or the inside dining for restaurants have started to come back a little bit? Have you noticed?
That's so nice that you think I go to a gym, LaTice. That's so kind of you to have thought that I've ever been to a gym a day in my life. No.
It could be a thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
I do a lot of driving around Philadelphia, and what I have noticed is like a lot of, especially when you get in the center city, a lot of the restaurants have like pushed their outdoor dining into like a lane of traffic. So now instead of having like 2 lanes of traffic on any given street, now you got one, and you got these like wooden partitions and people are just sitting out, and that's got to be nerve wracking. Just sitting out there eating, waiting to get sideswiped by a car.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad
Along
you
with the exhaust fumes. I mean, like you're trying to enjoy your dinner and a car like boom backfires and there's a puff of black smoke. You're like, what?
Yeah.
The dirt bikes come rolling by every 5 seconds.
Yep.
Like
Yes.
you're just like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like, look, we all want to be remarkable and memorable, right? Like, I don't want to die of COVID. Like, I want to die sitting in one of those tables that you're talking about, because I've thought the same thing, but not hitting my car. Like, the car hits someone else who's the server, but they don't get hit. The wine glass jumps up and then goes like Final Destination style. I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be some freak accident. Like,
horrible.
no one's died yet. And I actually thought the same thing, Larry. And I looked it up and I was like trying to figure out what to search. I was like, deaths from outdoor dining, sitting too close to road. Like, I couldn't find anything. So far, so good.
you know, they're actually, most of them aren't even taking up an actual like car driving lane. A lot of them are taking up like a bike lane. And my second fact that I didn't tell you about myself earlier that I'm going to clap back to. So first fact, vegan. Second fact, avid cycler. I ride my bike every day. And those parklets they took up our damn bike lanes. We only have like one bike lane, you know, like we don't have a lot. And then like
someone who drives around Philly, like I'm telling you right now, like the bike riders, they don't give a damn about those bike lanes anyway. They will just move in and out of traffic like they are like Superman or something. They don't give a damn. They will just cut you off. And then look at you, like you are the one that could die if their bike hits my car. You know, just
right.
Hey, I'm a safe. Don't you lump me in? Don't you me? You don't know what I do when I'm out there, young man. Okay, I'm a safe rider. I have my helmet. I've got lights. I use signals. I look back. You know, I make eye contact. I stop at lights and shit. You know, like I'm a good rider.
Okay. Don't let me see you out there like texting while biking, because
I'm not even coordinated enough to text while walking. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even try it. You know, I would just die. I couldn't even attempt. You know? Yeah. I'm safe. I'm really safe. I've been riding for 8 years and it's not worth it. You know?
Yeah, I remember like a few years ago when the Pope visited and they cut off all like the car traffic into Philly for like 3 days.
Yeah.
All the pedestrians and bike riders were like, this is nirvana. There are no cars anywhere. You can just bike in the middle of the street all weekend. They love that to death.
Yeah. You know, they started that. After that visit, they started doing a yearly thing called Philly Free Streets. And they would close down for like half of a day. They would close down the streets and you could ride, you know, throughout the city. And it's so much fun because we really don't have anywhere to go. And it's not like a fun biking experience. But actually, ever since COVID hit, they shut down MLK Drive from like right at the art museum all the way to Manayunk, which is like a 5-mile stretch of road. And that's been beautiful to be able to ride. I mean, you're just riding like next to the river. It's like next to Kelly Drive, you know, and you're just,
So speaking of bike rides, have you ever participated in the naked bike ride?
8 years in a row.
Of course she has.
Yes. Woo! Hell yeah.
Yes. It's my favorite day of the year. It was canceled this year. And I'm like, I honestly just want to sort of like flash people while I'm riding just to like feel it, you know, like flash some dude in a truck, you know.
Woo!
I don't mean to be rude, but do you have to put like the seat in the dishwasher afterwards?
Worry about the seat.
Yeah. You do want to wipe it down with some alcohol.
Yeah. Carl was like, you tell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do. You it can be like painful, but so you don't want your bits riding against it directly. It could also be like hot.
Funny bits, yeah.
Exactly. Not funny bits on the seat.
Exactly. Put a shirt down, you know, you get some cushion.
Now, like, do you leave your clothes at home and just plan a round trip, or do you carry them like in like a backpack or something, just in case you got to go into CVS or something to get some like, you know, something to use against the chafing that goes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're riding like 10 miles on the ride, but then you got to like go from your house to like the meeting location and then the ending location. So you can't just be riding around the city like, you know, pardon my French, but tits out. You know, you can't just ride in the city. Can we say that here? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Are we live?
Yeah.
Boobs out. I'm so sorry. Cut that.
No,
But
whatever you want.
but you know, you can't just be. It's like, I mean, it's, you know, you can get a lot of trouble. So you want to like wear something and then have a backpack or like a little whatever. I have a little basket, and then you want to be able to get to the starting location. You get there and it's like a field of naked people. So you just kind of look around and go, all right, and you just, you know, like join in.
What? Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask you. So,
So
because
basically-
I've seen different variations. I've seen some women just have bras on, you know, and underwear, or I've seen completely naked people. So, do you go full naked?
I have done different things every year. So the first couple of years I did it, I wore pasties, which I thought was fun. I got these like fun different ones every year. Once was an alien. Once I had like tassels. You know, and like my girlfriends and I all like got these like funny little pasties.
Right.
And then last year for the very first time, is Carl making fun of me? What's up, Wade? Are you making fun of me? Is that what I did?
Carl, pay attention.
Last year he was just like, I don't want to hear this. I'm a church comic. I can't hear this.
I'm good.
But yeah, last year for the very first time I went nipples out. So I went no pasties, full nipples out. But I still wear panties because I just, you know, there's a lot to it. It's a lot. I don't
feel like grooming down there for the bike ride.
You definitely want to be groomed. I mean, people are taking pictures. I wound up on NBC 10 one year. I was like, oh, that's my naked body, you know?
Wow.
I was in someone's wedding photographs. Like, you wind up in the weirdest places. So you want to look your best that day. Like, I would normally spend my summers like prepping for that day. And obviously this year I had nothing. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll just eat everything. I'll stop shaving, like whatever.
So this week actually started the first week of fall. Do you guys, I mean, pre-pandemic, did you ever do anything like as a tradition, you know, when the fall hits? Because actually out here in the burbs, you know, there's a farm that we used to take the kids to and do like the whole apple picking or pumpkin picking and stuff like that. So you guys do any of that when the fall time hits?
I mean, I'm pretty recent, like addition to the East Coast. Been 5 years total. So California, Arizona, not so much. Although actually living in Arizona where I lived before I moved to the East Coast, like fall is still really warm. So it's like you can finally actually go out and do hiking and pools and barbecues and not like be just dying from 115, you know? So I don't know if I have any traditions yet. I mean, I love the festival street stuff around here. And there are like attempts, like South Street's closed down this week, like right by me for like outdoor dining. It's not the same, but anything to be outside before we can't, like as a Coast girl, I'll do. So I don't have any formal traditions yet, but I just want to spend as much time outside as possible.
Yeah, I think that's everybody too. But it started to dip down really cold recently.
Yes.
It's like, oh,
Yeah, I'm digging
cold. I put my boots back on for the first time earlier this week. I was like, yes.
Yeah. I whipped out all my gray sweaters. I was like, all right, 6 gray sweaters back in the closet. You know? I guess this is it. Like, yeah, it's bad. I've never really been like a basic fall bitch. It's never been my thing. I know you asked us that because you're like, I got these white girls here. They love fall.
I know.
Like,
I know. They definitely went to apple picking at least.
Yeah. You did catch me though, because last week a bunch of girlfriends invited me to go apple picking. I don't normally go. I hadn't been in like 7 years. We get there and the line for apple picking was like super long. And then they said, well, the raspberry and corn section is open. So we were able to do raspberry and corn, which was actually way cooler than apples.
Yeah.
It was kind of,
I didn't even know
that's the thing, like that and the people that drive up to Vermont to watch the leaves change.
Oh, yes, the foliage.
Yeah.
Foliage.
LaTice just wants to know if we bought the pumpkin spice tampons. That she posted.
We did.
Yeah,
We did.
I'm the one selling those. That's
Right.
I'll take 10 boxes. I've got a heavy flow.
no
Yeah.
other.
If I won't drink it, I won't put it inside.
I
Sorry.
know that's right. I know
Yeah.
that's right.
Well,
Yo,
you know, this,
that is the funniest thing. And I think that popped up online probably a good 5 or 6 years ago. And every season now I bring it back. It pops up on memories and I'll be, yes, I can repost this shit. It's hilarious.
Speaking of which, and this has nothing to do with pumpkin spice, but I picked up a Lyft passenger the other day, and she was on her way to work, and she wanted me to stop, hit the drive-through at Dunkin' Donuts before I took her to work. Yeah, all right, cool. And so she gets up to the mic and she goes, "Yeah, I want like a medium iced coffee with 2 energy shots and 10 Splendas." And I was like, 10 Splend? What the 10 Splendas? That sounds like really excessive. Do I like, is Splenda like dangerous or like crack-like addiction? Because it's like those people that drink like 15 Diet Cokes in one day. Those are some scary people if you're consuming that much artificial sweetener in one day.
it's addictive.
Just use
Not to
regular
go on a
sugar.
vegan rant.
Huh?
What'd you say, Carl?
I said, just use regular sugar for all that much. You know, you're just gonna just go on that daggone Splenda.
But if you were using regular sugar, would you put 10 sugars in a iced coffee? No.
Some people do though. In that
I know,
documentary
some
I was talking about in McMillions, the couple, like the mob daughter and like husband, go through and they go through McDonald's and they go, "Can I get?" They're like, "Can I have 9 creams and 8 sugars?" And I was like,
No.
"What the hell?"
Right.
You just don't like coffee at that point.
Yeah.
Right. That's why. I mean, I was one of those people, like a lot of sugars. I think when I started to try to drink coffee, and ironically enough, it was at McDonald's. I remember putting in at least 6, and like in a small coffee. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
But then I just stopped drinking coffee, and then I got hooked on French vanilla coffee from Wawa like years ago. And I was like, I gotta stop drinking it. Like it would just like I could feel a difference in my body. I was just like, this is crazy. But occasionally I do stop at Starbucks, and now I'm addicted to their caramel ribbon crunch, and I get a shot of espresso. It's so good though.
Like, do you ever outgrow like the foo coffee drinks and just drink straight up coffee?
I haven't had straight up coffee in years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the real deal, man.
Right.
I can't be messing around for my body to process all that milk and sugar to get to the caffeine. I just need the caffeine.
Well, that's why I say give me the shot of espresso. It's like it's a real like.
Yeah, try this. Just take get a double shot of espresso. Take it to the head.
Ooh, I've done that in restaurants.
Just open up a vein and
Yep.
just in there.
Right. So real
Mess
quick,
around, man. Your body's all confused. It's like, like the sugar's slowing you down, the coffee speed you up. It's like a speedball. No, mainline. just get to the good stuff.
Bump of cocaine.
Yeah.
So real quick, last question. What have you learned during this pandemic? One thing that stands out in your mind.
So I will make mine not specific to comedy. Well, it's sort of related, but since I was homeschooled, like I mentioned before, my first reaction was a little bit of panic because I was trapped at home. I wasn't allowed to leave and interact with strangers. My first reaction was like, oh my God, here we go again. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, no, I'm in charge. I'm an adult. I have technology. I can do stuff. And that's kind of how all the shows and the school and everything kind of came to life. So I've learned, I think, because of how similar this was in a lot of ways to my childhood, that I have grown up and I have control and agency. And if I want to do something, no one's going, people will try to stop me, but my parents won't be there to actually physically stop me. So that's cool.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And Sam, what about you?
Oh, that's a good one. I learned so much about myself. I am not like an introvert. I am not a homebody. I do not spend time at home. I never have. My parents were busy people. They still are in their retirement, busier than me. Well, not during COVID, but normally. And so this time was really hard, but also I learned that I can sit by myself and I can sit with my own thoughts for 3 months on end. I did without work and without anything else. And that was really eye-opening. I've worked, I think, since I was 8 years old. And I've always had like 2-3 jobs. And I never have had time. And it was scary and panicking and shocking. And then I learned to sit with it and sink into it and make my home a really happy and comfortable and warming place, and really curate my space to be what I want it to be, and curate my head to be what I want it to be. And that has been really powerful during this time.
That's awesome. That's probably one of the best things you could have done. And now going forward, you'll learn, you know how to balance that now because you've had the taste of it.
Yeah.
So real quick, tell everybody where they can find you. I'm going to put up your IGs, but Christine, if you want to give other social medias, please do.
Yeah, I think that IG is good. You obviously already had the Off Mic Comedy School, and then I do have a website that has my shows and also my published short stories. So I have 7 published fiction stories.
Oh, nice.
So it's christinesgotstories.com.
Okay, very cool. Thank you. And Sam.
And I'm only laughing because the last time I had to say that out loud in a show, I think I said Christine Got Stories, and it just like was the most like Philly, like it just, I was just like, I'll never live it down and I'll never think of it any other way. But Christine Got Stories, and that's the way I'll say it forever. But that's actually not her website. I'm sorry. Don't say it that way. Say it the Philly Sam way. But yeah, Sam Kap Comedy on IG. Same handle on Twitter. That is the best place to find me, and any projects that I do, I link to that social media. IG is the best. I'll always be posting.
Awesome. So real quick, when is the first class? I think Jake's class is starting first with Off Mic.
Yep, his class starts on the 1st. First on the 1st, then Che, then Dan, then you, and then Dan also has this crowd work class kind of shoved in the middle. So basically between the 1st and the 26th, we've got 5 different classes starting. So
nice.
So excited.
Yes, and we will continue to promote and get these people in here and have some fun. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Keep doing everything you're doing. You guys have like really made a clear path for yourselves, and I'm excited just to be along for the ride.
We're glad to have. It wouldn't be the same without you for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're grateful to have you.
All right. So we won't hold you. We're gonna continue for a little bit longer, but thank you so much. And I'll see you on Facebook very shortly.
Good. Bye, Larry.
Thanks.
All right. They were amazing.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what part of the introvert game involves naked bike riding 8 years in a row.
I know. No, so she's not an introvert.
I know, but she like it took her like up until now to realize that. I'm like, hey, okay, never mind.
So what's funny is I found out about the naked bike ride from another friend, and I know he was doing it for years, but I was like, yo, y'all crazy. You would never see me doing no naked bike ride. I just have
you
a
hit
fear,
one
like,
bump, it's all over.
You might
like, what if you fall? That's the worst.
You might meet the next love of your life on a naked bike ride. You never know.
No, I won't.
Yeah, you never know. Larry.
What? Like, hey, if you don't want to go full naked, you could do body paint.
That is basically naked, and if you fall, you're still gonna scratch yourself up.
Are you falling? How old are you? You falling off the bikes? What the?
Yeah, you could look. Somebody could brush up against you. Somebody you could try to turn, and the tire could slide a little bit. Listen, anything can happen. But that's
messed up. You could be like, hold on.
That's my first thought.
Somebody got on purple paint. Some dude got on green paint. And the spouses come back and be like, hey, why your purple on my wife's green? And that's how the fight started.
So real quick, let's get into National Calendar Days. Love these. Used to be a pet peeve of mine. Now I am obsessed. So hope y'all enjoy today's National Calendar Days, September 24th, this Friday Eve. Today is National Cherries Jubilee Day, y'all. I love a good cherry jubilee.
That's
Nice.
isn't that just like cherries that set on fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have a mini cherry pie in my refrigerator right now, waiting for me to make pie a la mode out of it.
Okay. Do you use vanilla ice cream?
Yes, Breyers to be exact.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like a while ago, I kind of got off the cherry kick, and now I'm more into strawberries than I'm into cherries.
Okay. I mean, listen, I can do both. Like you talking to Team Greedy right here, so it
Yeah.
don't really matter. You change the fruit, it's still gonna be the same outcome. I'm gonna eat it. Oh gosh, Carl, did I see you make a face when I mentioned Breyers ice cream?
I haven't eaten Breyers in years. I actually like Turkey Hill.
Okay, yeah, Turkey Hill is pretty good. I grew up on Breyers.
I'm not gonna turn Breyers. I'm not gonna turn him down though. I'm just saying.
Right. But it was weird because I almost picked a generic ice cream the other night, and when I did my Walmart run, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm an adult. Let me pick Breyers.
Have you ever tried this Cinnabon ice cream?
No.
No, they don't have Cinnabon ice cream.
You gotta try
My favorite ice cream right now, Cheesecake Factory makes pints of their own ice cream.
Shut up. No,
Yeah, they do. Like it's in my fridge right now. They got my jam. They got my kryptonite. It's a key lime pie ice cream with like graham cracker bits in it. And then they got other flavors. They got a salted caramel. They got a strawberry cheesecake.
I'm about to go make an ice cream run.
And they got a vanilla, and they got a confetti. Yeah, those are their flavor options. But I always
where'd you get it from?
You can get it at ShopRite or at Acme.
ShopRite.
It's like $5 for a pint. It's like some Ben and Jerry's level. Okay. Yeah, but the key lime is the bomb.
Well, you already know that's not my favorite, and so I wouldn't be.
Yeah, the salted caramel is really good, and the strawberry cheesecake is really good too.
That's what and the salted caramel and the strawberry cheesecake. You got me.
Yeah.
It's also National Punctuation Day today, guys. So we tease people online all the time because punctuation is very important when you're making a post. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I like run-on sentences. I'm sorry. Forget it.
I hate them. Oh gosh. And when I tell you I hate them, I cannot read them. I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening here? It makes me have to go back and read what I should not be having to go back and read when there's no punctuation. So please use punctuation today. It's very important. So those are the two for today, this Friday Eve, September 24th. And y'all know I'm gonna give you a jump start on tomorrow. Friday, got a good list here on Friday. And actually it was more than what I actually even grabbed from the internet. But I went with like the first half of the list. So tomorrow is quesadilla day, y'all. Woo!
Yep.
No, I had to put that on the list.
All right.
I will be getting a quesadilla. It's also One Hit Wonder Day. Now I know Larry.
Rockwell.
Huh?
Rockwell.
Right. See, I knew you would like automatically pull somebody out. I'm like, and I know you know a lot of other one hit wonders.
Yeah, there's tons of them out there. I just like I was listening to like the old school R&B station, and Rockwell, like, you know, Somebody's Watching Me, like came on the radio, and I remember thinking to myself, like, how long did Michael Jackson work on that song? All of like 3 minutes. Just came in and sang the hook. Like, come on, let's go, Rockwell. Shit, let's get
right. But what's funny is I remember when that song came out and I thought it was Michael Jackson at first. And Rockwell sounded very much like him.
No, the double Dutch
no, listen to that song again. Rockwell has like the sloppiest like verse delivery you ever want to hear in your life. It is comical.
I've always loved that song.
Yeah.
It's also National Comic Book Day tomorrow. That's a good one. That's a good one. You know I couldn't leave this out. It's National Lobster Day tomorrow. And Larry, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get that lobster roll from Chickies and Pete's for
All
sure.
right. you got
I'm
you got
definitely
the
doing
money.
that tomorrow. Huh?
No,
You got
got a good
the
lobster
money. Go
roll.
get it because that's like $30.
Almost. Well,
Yeah.
maybe for lunch on tomorrow.
Panera Bread.
Okay.
And it's also National Tune-Up Day. So I'm assuming that it has to do with cars. So if you
Hey, whatever you need to get tuned up,
Do what you gotta do. Whatever needs fixing, fix it.
Exactly. All right, so those are our national calendar days for today.
Nice.
No celebrity birthdays today. You know what's crazy? Like I've loved the celebrity birthdays, but ever since like I left it out a couple of weeks ago, I've gotten used to not doing them. But I mean, happy birthday if you're celebrating a birthday on September 24th. It's still Virgo season, so happy birthday. Y'all also know, follow, of course, Funny Bits on Twitter and IG and Facebook under Funny Bits Podcast. You can find us. Carl, where can they find you?
Right here next Friday Eve. That's pretty much all.
When you're
I
not
am Carl Rogers on IG. And yeah, just do that. Do that.
Yeah, well, it would be nice if we could all get together. We can still participate in some outdoor dining, and I would love to meet Martina face to face since she's like been one of our loyal fans of the show for a minute.
I would run it by her, and I'm quite sure she would love that. I'm quite sure she would love it.
Because I put the fireballs under your picture, and she hearted my comment. So she.
Yeah, I just want to be there when she tries to like cut Carl's steak for him.
Man, please, grown man over here, cut our own steak.
That's another thing, Matt. I'm scared because I think Mad Rex won't be reopening, and it's so sad because that restaurant was a bomb.
Yeah.
You know what I'll get? That surf and turf sandwich.
Yes, I know. Like we need to recreate that. All we need is some skirt steak, and they had crab cake, and what else did they put on that?
It was macaroni and cheese.
Get Simon to recreate it.
Huh?
Get Simon to recreate it. I know you took pictures of it.
Ooh,
just show him a picture of it and just have Simon's like, hey, can you make this?
Oh, yeah.
And
I'll just give him the ingredients. Yes,
Yeah.
he would definitely be able to make that. And what else did they put on there? What was the sauce?
I don't know the sauce, but it was a garlic rosemary bread.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the bread, we had mac and cheese.
I'm gonna make it myself.
Listen,
I'm gonna make it myself.
I would tell Simon to put some crab in or lobster in the mac and cheese and put that on the sandwich too with the skirt steak and then the crab cake on top of that.
That'd be ridiculous.
That my stomach is growling right now just talking about it. So Larry, where can they find you?
Good night. Show.
LarryXL.com, LarryXL on Facebook and Twitter, and comedian LarryXL on IG.
Thank you. And I'm gonna leave everybody with the message of the week, and I'm going to let y'all in on who's coming on next week. So the message of the week is gratitude eliminates fear, worry, grief, and depression, and brings happiness, kindness, compassion, understanding, and peace of mind. Now, I posted that a couple days ago, and Larry posted this funny ass gif with it under my post, teasing me about. And Larry, what did you say? Oh, how much fear did this guy?
Yeah, he was like saying gratitude it can fight fear, and I just showed like some guy tightroping like in the stratosphere and falling off with a tightrope. I was wondering how much gratitude he had. He was like, I'm not afraid. I got gratitude. Yeah, good.
I was like, he always good for bringing up some smart ass comment every time I post something, which is
my
hilarious.
job.
Yeah, it is your job. So he's made it his job. So next week, I'm super excited. Love this guy. We have Satoyo, who will be
Oh,
on October. Is it October 1st next week? Oh, it's craziness. Yeah, he'll be with us next week. Super
comedian,
excited.
breakdancer extraordinaire.
He is, and a funny comedian on top
Oh
of
yeah.
that, and a bartender. He does it all. And I'm super excited to talk to him. We're going to have him in the studio. So please tune in. But this was fun. Let's get this music crack-a-lacking. Go and play
Bust those
ourselves
bars, LaTice.
out. Huh?
Bust those bars.
I'm still, you know what? Next week, I think I might actually play my rap version with this music on it.
You
And
better.
because I can't remember it all, and I don't want to try to say it now. That'll spoil the fun. But I think I might play it next week. But it was definitely called When Wives Attack, and it's hilarious.
I remember it. I remember
Right.
it.
So again, our special thanks to Sam Kap and Christine Olivas, who was on our show. And I even have a group picture of the three of us. This was the first time we were all outside together couple months ago when the Raven actually had their first outdoor mic, and it was so much fun. It was just good seeing everybody. It was like a Saturday afternoon. It was amazing. But that's our show. We will see y'all next week. Yeah, 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 yeah.